This past week, I've done a number of videos on 5G opportunities, 5G stocks, Ericsson, Marvell, Huawei, a number of them. And I got to thinking about how do they differ from the stocks I've been talking about the past and the big six. And how do I rate them against the big six? The Apples, Googles, Facebooks, Microsofts, Amazons, and I'll add Tesla in that. What is the difference? Well, I got to thinking that when 5G is delivered, it's going to be hardware and software, and I visualized it that 5G is going to be delivered to me as a user of 5G in a box. And all the parts to the 5G are going to be in this box, and they're going to be supplied by the companies I just mentioned, Huawei or Ericsson or Nokia or Intel or Qualcomm. They're going to be in a box, okay? And after that box is delivered and I pay for it, in whatever way, my transaction is over. That's the end of it. Until 6G comes around, and that might not be for another 10 years. And at that point, I'll buy another box. And that's the way business has been transmitted over the years. You buy something, and then you use it. And then when it expires or it deteriorates and you can no longer maintain it, you buy another one. And so I got to thinking about my house. I bought my house probably in about 1985, and I paid $325,000 for it. And it came with hardwood floors. All the light canisters were in the ceilings. We had it came with a dishwasher and a refrigerator and everything that needed to be in the house. It came with 5 toilets and 4 bathtubs. I haven't replaced any of those toilets in 35 years. I haven't replaced any of the bathtubs. It's the same hardware floor. So those people, the toilet company, even the dishwasher is the same dishwasher we had 35 years ago. So those people have made no more money off of me. There's been other houses built, but every day they are having to create new opportunities in order to generate cash flow. I got to thinking about that's the way we work. We go and we do our work, and as long as we show up every day, we get paid. But if we don't show up, if we quit, if we decide I'm done with that, we don't ever get paid again. Well, the world is changing in that way. And when I talk about Apple, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and Amazon, they do business a different way. They incorporate the Ds. And I want to explain to you the Ds and how the Ds should affect your investing and how the Ds should affect the way you approach your career and your life from this point on. The first D is digitalization. And I think you can think of all the different ways that to digitalize something, there is a high cost of entry. I think the one that comes to my mind immediately is the travel industry, travel agents. Expedia digitalized, and Travelocity digitalized the travel industry and basically put travel agents out of business because now it's all there and it's digital, and it was expensive to get it initialized, but once it was there, every time you use it, they make money. They don't have to show up. If they want to take the week off, it's still there. They got to maintain it, but it's still there. What happens then is Moore's Law kicks in. As they introduced it, they didn't have that many people, but as the internet grew, so grew their revenues. But and the cost of entry kept a lot of other people out. Look at Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Apple. They've done the same thing. Amazon didn't make any money for 14 years, but they built a digital system that made it easy for you to buy anything that you want. And then Amazon Web Services is just started as just a big, huge warehouses full of servers that then could be accessed on an as needed basis. And so that was a digitalization of so that I don't have to buy a server to download all my videos. I can use the cloud to do that. Facebook didn't know how they were going to digitalize, but between Facebook and Google, they have totally digitalized the advertising business. So unlike the toilets that I've not replaced, every month I do business in some way with Google, Amazon, and Facebook, and their cash registers ring. Kohler, who made my toilets, or American Standard, hasn't made a penny off of me in 35 years. So digitalization is our first D. The next real D is disruption. And I think Amazon is our best example of that. They disrupted the retail industry. They disrupted the music industry, the book industry. They've gone after everything. So they disrupted. So when I'm looking for a company, I need to look for a disruptor, whether it be in 5G is going to be a disruption because it's going to change us all over from 4G to 5G, and we're going to bring in the Internet of Things. And that's a form of disruption. But still, once it's in place and once that box is delivered, and I've got the modems and I've got the routers and I've got the switches and all this, they don't have anything else to sell me. They're not going to get a monthly check from me. Okay? Now I want you to make a real quick transfer and say, how does my job fit into the element of digitalization and disruption? Well, my job, my video is digitalized. I'll make this video once. I'll put it out there. The message I'm delivering is disruptive because I'm telling people to do things differently than they used to. Every time my video is viewed, I will make, based on last week's activity, I will make 1.25 cents. Now, let's assume that video gets viewed 1 million times. I'm not going to do the math, but I'm only going to do it once. And I'm going to digitalize it, and it's going to be disruptive. So that's my job. Now, what I want you to, right now, before we go any further, you think about what you could do that you could digitalize and you could disrupt. What is it you know that I want to know? And how can you use YouTube? What is it you know that I want to know and you can create a blog? What is it you know that I want to know that you can digitalize? So that you can move into this new economy. So you can break away from I got a job and I go to work every day. And until I quit, I'll get paid or I retire. But Carrie did a video back in we're in June of 2020 that will live forever and potentially could make him money even after he dies. Through digitalization and disruption. Then let's talk about demonetization. What does that mean? How much does this video cost you? Nothing. It's free. So once I take the cost out of it and transfer it someplace else, it grows in popularity. This is when Moore's Law, the growth exponentially. So Facebook, Google, Expedia, YouTube are all involved in demonetization. Facebook doesn't cost you anything. Expedia doesn't cost you anything. Travelocity doesn't cost you anything. So if you can take your job and demonetize it and then transfer the monetization to some other form, such as I am, that someone wants to advertise adjacent to my video because it's disruptive and it's digitalized, I have a new source of income. I'm not doing business the old way. Dematerialization. What does that mean? Remember when you used to buy a camera, a Kodak camera, a Polaroid camera, and you had film that you had to take to the drugstore and get it processed? And so you really considered whether you wanted to take that snapshot or not, because there was a cost associated with it. Right now, you don't worry about taking pictures. You just take them, and then what you do with them is then determined, and it has no real cost associated. Well, who else has done that? It used to be that a phone was something that was extremely expensive. It was the size of a brick, and you had to have some money to have it. Now everybody in the world pretty much has a phone. We have gotten the cost of phones down to where everybody pretty much determines they need to have it. So that's another step in the D's of business, and how you need to think about your investing. Who is digitalizing, disrupting, demonetizing, and dematerializing their product? What is Amazon's product? It doesn't have one. It merely makes it easy for you to buy somebody else's product. What is going to happen in the auto industry? As I have mentioned before, I have $200,000 of depreciating assets sitting in my garage that I have to pay another $7,000 a year to maintain, insure, and keep on the road. That's going to go away. So the car industry is going to turn into a digitalized, because I'll get on my phone and I'll say, deliver me a car so I can go to where I want to go. And I want it in this form. I don't want 6 other people in the vehicle with me. I want it to myself. Or I want a Tesla type vehicle where 4 of us are going to go to a meeting, or we're going to go to lunch and we want to carry on our business. Or I want a Huawei, not a Huawei, what is it called? A Wemo, that's the Google, and I don't mind having 6 people. Or I just want a little smart type car that has nobody in it and takes me someplace and then drops me off and then comes back and picks me up at a later date. That's digitalization, disruption, demonetization, and dematerializing, because I don't own it. I just use it when I need it. And then there's democratization. Think about that. It's available to everybody. And it's available to everybody under all the other D's. Where do I think that's going to happen? I think that's going to happen in education. I think that's going to be that not only the privileged that can afford $50,000 a year will go to Harvard or Princeton. I think education will become democratized so that anybody who has a brain that we value, we can educate it to its fullest extent, which we should as a civilization, We should not make a condition of good education the luck of the birth canal. It should not be because your mother can bribe the crew coach and say that you're a rower when you're not, and get you into that should not be a criteria of getting an education. I have a neighbor who told me, oh, I don't think that's going to ever happen because my two boys went to Stanford, and the best thing they have is the connections they made while they were at Stanford. And then one of them went on to Harvard, and he made more connections. So they've moved up the ladder as a result of the connections they made. Is that fair? Is that right? Is that fair to the people who live on the south side of New York, of Chicago, who are just as smart as his boys? Is that fair? No. So we're going to democratize. That's our, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth D. We've got digitalization, disruption, demonetization, dematerialization, and democratization. That's who I want to invest in. Oh, I'll put some money in the 5G stocks because they're going to have a little bump, but they're not going to change the world I live in. I'm not going to be buying another box until 6G comes around, and that might be 10 years, and I might opt out of it. I don't know. But I do know that I'm going to use Google, I'm going to use Amazon, I'm going to use Facebook, and then when I see these people taking everything they've learned and exposing it to other countries, as Facebook is doing with India, I'm saying, my God, look what they've grown off of 350 million people. And India has 1.3 billion people. The potential is astronomical. So I'm not going to get real excited about buying a box of 5G. But more importantly than this, I want you to take it to your life. How can you implement the 5 D's to reposition yourself in life? I got a very extensive email from Sagar. Sagar is a Turkish individual who right now, today, is in Saudi Arabia. He's an engineer. He makes a lot of money, but he doesn't like his life because he's in the middle of a desert working for the Saudi Arabians or the Dubaians or whatever. And he's writing me and asking me how should I become a financial advisor? Don't. Because financial advisor is going to be digitalized, disrupted, demonetized, democratized, and dematerialized. We saw that already. My E-Trade account, I can trade stocks for nothing. Zero. In 1992, as a stockbroker, I charged 1.25%. That's gone. No, do what I'm doing. Do what I'm doing and figure out how you can take something you've got and turn it into something that I want and digitalize it. Digitalize it and make it for free. Think about what I'm doing. I am creating my own TV station. And I have a network called YouTube who is selling advertising against my YouTube channel. And I make 1.325 cents every time somebody watches it. And then I'm building a tribe, a group of people who are interested in learning what I know. And I'm asking them to make themselves public by buying a hat or buying a coffee cup. So I've opened up a store, but I have no inventory. This hat is made when you order it. This coffee cup is made when you order it. I ship it to you and you pay for it. I don't have to be in a mall. I've digitalized my business. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to invest your money in stocks that follow the 5Ds, because they are going to be the innovators and the disruptors who are going to show astronomical growth. And then I want you to apply these same principles to your life and create a life that fits your desires. That's what I've done. How did I get there? I've documented it in this book. Who are you and why are you? Find happiness and discover who are you and why are you you. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The first thing you have to do is learn who you are so that you can manage yourself, so that you can get rid of that unrun roommate up in your head that tells you, no, I can't give up this good paying job and do what Carrie's suggesting, implementing the 5Ds, and then opening my life to do whatever I want to do, wherever I want to do it, whenever I want to do it, and get away from the harness that I've put myself on, that I'm pulling this heavy weight behind me, hoping that someday I can walk away and retire. I'm 75 years old. I'll be 76 in September. Damn it, I wish I had discovered this when I was 25.